Hey, we're here. Hello, everybody. I would do the Bro 9000 stuff, but it's just too warm. I'm sweating. I've had beer. Such is life. I would say today is Sunday, July the 11th, but it's not. Sorry, it is Monday, July the 11th, 2022. So yeah, we're a day late. I think I was just too hot yesterday. It was just too hot to do anything. So I thought we'd better put it out before the material is wasted, the production is wasted. It's just me and the Mega Geek today. So shall we introduce him? So first up and last but not least, he's the wise elder of the channel, the writer, portal director, paid up member of the Self-Issues Appreciation Society. He is the great Mega Geek himself, Ian David Diaz. Hello, Ian.
Hello, I'm here. Raring to go as always.
Should we just get on with it, yeah?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. I'll just say hello, chat. Hope you're well. Hope you're keeping cool. So, end of week musings, Sunday, July 10th or Monday, July 11th, depending where you are. Free eye test, please like, share, subscribe. Okay, so this weekend it was the 40th anniversary of Tron. Can you believe it?
No, not really.
I understand you're a very, very big fan of Tron.
No, I'm not. I never liked Tron. When I first saw Tron, I thought it was boring as hell. It was slow, it was meander, and it was just passing the time in the cinema. I never really liked it at all. I thought special effects for its time was okay, but the only good bits in it obviously was the bike chase and the chase at the end, I think, where they were trying to get away from something. I can't remember it, but
yeah,
I remember being bored watching it.
Wow, that really surprised me. I like Tron. It was one of those that we taped on the old VHS back in the day. So I've seen Tron.
A lot of people like Tron.
Yeah.
A lot of people like Tron, but as I said, for me, there's certain films that people hail as good. But I'm not one of those people who think Tron is good. I think it was mediocre at best. And don't even talk to me about the sequel. I basically was forced to go and see the sequel, and the sequel was slow as shit as well. So, but that's just my opinion, you know. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people like Tron.
Matt I, or is it Matt One? He likes Tron.
Yeah,
Love Tron.
Yeah,
Franco's in. Wow, really great film.
Well, you know, as I said, you know,
Mephisto, Tron was awesome. What?
That's what's great about fandom is that, you know, people can agree and disagree, but not cancel someone because that's just stupid. So I would literally, you know, I really didn't enjoy Tron. The same thing with Blade Runner as well. I never enjoyed Blade Runner when I first saw it. Can appreciate it now, but when I first saw Blade Runner, it was a bore to me. It really wasn't.
40th anniversary.
Yeah, and when I watched it again, it was still slow.
Still a bore.
Yeah, it was still slow. I mean, I appreciate it as a film, but it's to me, it's something I wouldn't watch again. You know, same thing with Tron. I can't watch that film again. It's so slow.
Melvin Deeply, hello Melvin. 40th anniversary of Tron. Jeff Bridges gave a speech and no one understood a word.
Well, he talks like that now, doesn't he? So he's got a weird speech pattern, isn't he? The way he speaks now. So
it's almost like he's all chewing some some backy, some chewing tobacco or something.
Yeah. I mean, Tron could be held for the you know the special effects because it was something that was really hard to achieve in those days. Yeah, you know, that you could say that about Tron, but you can say the same about 2001, that the special effects were amazing in 2001 for its time. But those things don't make a good film. If the film is slow and the person's not interested in it, then their opinion would be it was a slow movie and I wouldn't watch it again. And that's the case for both of those films. I couldn't watch it. Oh, somebody agrees with me.
Yeah, Andy Mouse. Hello, Andy. I agree with Mr. Geek on this.
Well, somebody has to.
Perhaps I was at the correct age and really into computers when it came out. I think I was 14.
I think I was kind of the same age as you, or more or less, or maybe a year older than you. But I still found it dull and slow. Do you know what I mean? And it just picked up when Jeff Bridges got zapped into the computer. That's when it kind of picked up slightly. But then even then, it still slowed down with the talking when they were in computer world, as I call it, you know, and stuff like that. There's loads of quotes you can quote from this movie that's gone down in history, you know. But it's, as I said, again, it's not enough to save the movie, you know.
Greetings, program.
I want him dying in the game. I want him playing in the games until he dies playing. Acknowledge.
Yeah.
Acknowledge master control. End of line. So, you know, I remember those lines because obviously they're kind of iconic now, aren't they? So
while I was watching the Blu-ray over the weekend, the picture quality looked amazing.
It's still not enough to save the movie.
Yeah, I will say, Zark, the David Warner character, when he's in the computer, when he's in the control room, looking at the control panel.
Yeah, his desk.
There's fucking Pac-Man playing Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Didn't even notice that.
But it's like I got or my friend got the director's cut of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I went around his house to see it. He's got like this huge TV and he's got a 4K player and it's got 4K whatever. And it looked amazing, but the film was still slow as shit. You know, there's nothing you can do about that. The filmmakers deliberately made the film to be slow. And,
it could do with losing half hour, but
of course it can.
Yeah.
Okay. But as I said, you can apply that to Tron. You can apply that to 2001. You know, as I said, then again, you know, people will argue the point. Yeah, you know, it's a film of its time. Yes, it's a film of its time. But so was Raiders of the Lost Ark. But I can watch that multiple times. You know, so that's what I'm saying. I think it's the fault of the filmmakers. That reason why Tron didn't. I heard it didn't do very well when it was first released. I don't know if that's true. I think it's true, but
it didn't do well.
Well, if that's the case, the reason why it didn't do well is because the film. If you look at that poster, it says this is for kids. Come, bring the family to come and see this film. And when you sit there, they're trying to give us something that doesn't speak to kids, that doesn't speak to families. That's what it's trying to do, and that's the mistake of the film.
Yeah,
you know, and you can't take that away from the film because it is the film. So the fault lies in the writers. Anyway, enough of me.
Okay, so 40 years anniversary, 1982, great week. So great year for cinema. Wrath of Khan, Blade Runner, Tron.
Yep.
The Thing, E.T. What a year! What a year!
Yeah, okay. E.T. is brilliant. Wrath of Khan is brilliant. You know, I think Blade Runner came out the same year as well, didn't it? Blade Runner.
Literally, they all came literally out the same month.
Yeah, I mean Blade Runner. Yeah, Blade Runner is. I can appreciate it now, but it's still slow as shit, isn't it? It's just as I said. It's just the way the film was made. Anyway. The Boys.
Okay, so The Boys finale dropped this week. Did you watch it?
Of course I did. Yep.
Thoughts?
I was kind of happy with it. I was kind of happy.
I thought it was all right. Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously going to do a season 4. Season
4 being renewed. Yeah, season 4 renewed. Yes.
So because obviously Butcher, you know, has that thing at the end. Obviously, I don't want to give away any spoilers. And, you know, it to me, it was quite kind of satisfying, the ending. And I thought this season was quite entertaining. There was a bit of woke in there, a small bit, but there wasn't enough to spoil my enjoyment, you know.
Far superior to season 2.
Yeah, it was. Season 2 was. Yeah,
Andy Mouse, The Boys is fucking great. Loved the last one. So did I.
yeah. So did I. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Maeve. Oh,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
God, I love Maeve.
Well, and also the surprise when the girl, what's her name, took the wig off her head. Obviously, I'm not going to name who I'm talking about, but that was quite surprising, wasn't it? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
because she pulls her. It's been hinted at that she pulls
Yeah,
her
she pulls her
hair
hair.
out. So
But
we finally got to see. Yeah,
she's a strange looking girl, isn't she, though, in real life? Very strange.
plays a good part though.
Yeah, it's got those flary nostrils. That's a bit strange about her, but she's a good actress.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to next season. I am.
Yeah, so am I.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It was the season finale this week. Lots of Romulans going on. Bit of a callback to I think it was Balance of Terror from the original series. You can't, as I've always said, cannot wash the taste out of Discovery out of my mouth, and it's a shame because if this would have been 5 years ago, I think people think, okay, it's different timeline. Okay, it's not bad. I quite enjoyed it, but that's just me.
Mm.
It's just a shame how Discovery has just ruined everything. But anyway, never mind. I enjoyed it. As I said, lots of call back to Romulan stuff in the. There you go. I stand corrected. Brown, you are so wrong. Bad take is bad.
I actually agree with that. I think
He is right.
Strange New Worlds is on a different timeline. They've established that. Same thing with Picard, and same thing with
They even referenced it on this
yeah,
episode. Yes.
this Discovery. Therefore, for me, that's not real Star Trek at all. I prefer Captain Kirk's timeline. I prefer, even though
The
Spock did go
prime
to the other
timeline.
timeline.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
prefer the prime timeline, which is where everything is supposed to be, and it doesn't have any of that woke crap in it. So, for me, I'm never going to watch this show again. I will say it for the cheap seats that I will be endorsing the shit that came before this if I
Yeah.
watch Strange New Worlds, and I don't want to watch Strange New Worlds because of that basic fact. I don't care how good it is. It's not
I
Star Trek.
I would say if this was the first Star Trek series, forget Discovery, it's never been made. If this would have been same timeline as the original series, 10 years before the original series, I think we could have probably bought into it, maybe, if they'd have
Well,
been true to the canon.
it isn't, is it?
But it
So
isn't, which
no.
is a shame. They should have just totally distanced themselves from
Do you know what
Discovery.
this
But
reminds me of? Everything they've done in the MCU or even in Disney. What they've like, if you take a villain in the
yeah,
MCU, they've done all these horrible things. Let's take for instance, I don't know, Wonder Vision. She did all those horrible things. She entrapped people in houses and crap like that, and
yeah,
did everything. And yet the show portrays her as a good person. Yet she's done all these horrific things, you know, destroyed people's lives. Yet, a character says nobody can understand what you've been through. To
bullshit.
Wonder, and in the Doctor Strange movie, she basically is a horrible, horrible person. But yet the film portrays her as someone, who wants to basically save the day, and she does save the day because obviously we understand that males can't save the day anymore according to the Disney
Not allowed
universe.
to, no.
So if you apply that logic to Strange New Worlds, it doesn't matter how good the show is. What came before it is disgusting and insulting and stupid. So why should I give this a try? No, that's not me. Everybody's welcome to. and everybody's welcome to like it. But for me, I think it's a crime to
And
like
on that
this.
note, let's move on. Okay.
Can't comment on this. Can't comment on this. I haven't seen any apart from episode 1.
This week's episode of the Orville was better than the episode that I switched off and I have not watched. There was moments where I thought Seth MacFarlane is starting to get a little preachy. Might be just me though. But yeah, an episode of timey-wimey shit. I enjoyed it for the kind of timey-wimey stuff. Matt is it Matt 1? Yeah, this week episode was better than last week's. I think there's only about 3 more episodes of this. It's still good, but as I said last week, or was it the week before, the 3-year hiatus has hurt this program because a lot has happened in 3 years, hasn't it, Ian? In the world.
Yes. Yeah. Well, again, I can't comment on this because
Yeah.
I've only seen episode 1. So
yeah, season 1 and 2, it was like Seth MacFarlane, Maverick, Maverick, Star Trek producer. He's going to do it his way. Let's do some Star Trek.
he did.
And he did it well.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, 3 years later, bit of coof going on. And then, okay, right, I've got my platform to get a little bit preachy. Even the, hello, Jonathan, no Brown, it's not just you, he's preachy. Yeah, we can't, I can't really defend it. Matt MacFarlane getting preachy. It's still good, but the episode last week was, the one where I turned it off. That was a hammer blow to my love of the Orville. But yeah,
well, it's the same thing that happened with Resident Alien. After the second episode, I refused to watch anymore because they just went down the woke road. And I loved Resident Alien, as you know.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the second season they just went completely 100% woke. So I couldn't care less what happens to that character now. It's just a waste of my time. So yeah.
Melvin in the chat. I just found out that Matt Stone and Trey Parker, that's South Park, both hate MacFarlane. I wonder why.
Well, we don't want to go into the ins and outs of that, do we? I mean,
I think Seth MacFarlane should have just stuck to his Star Trek Maverick type role instead of preaching, and I think this season would have been absolutely wonderful.
Well, we don't know what constraints he was under. Maybe Hulu said to him,
yes,
so maybe Hulu said to him, "Look, we've got to do this. We've got to do this. You've got to put these in there."
Disney,
and that kind of thing. So, and people, maybe he needed to buy a new house in Malibu or something, and he complied. That's probably 9 times out of 10 that's what's really happened. I remember Michael Caine said the only reason why he did Jaws the Revenge was to buy his mum a house. People do things for the money, and I don't blame them either. But the thing is, though, if he is doing it for that, he's doing it and he's destroying something that people really like, which is a bit bad, really.
It is, and I totally agree with that. Andy Mouse, you've got to get used to the message. Lovely Sherry is in. Hello, Sherry.
Well, you don't have to get used to it. You can fight against it. You can say your piece about what you don't like about it. If the other side, so to speak, can belt all this stuff towards us, the least we can do is express our displeasure. our
Yeah,
displeasement with
displeasure.
them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So
In the chat, this is at me. If the Star Trek bar in the Pimlico reopened, there would be not one single person dressed in a
yes,
Discovery uniform, and the old bar. Yeah,
I remember that bar. I used to go there all the time, all the time. If you're talking about the one, there used to be one in Victoria as well, a Star Trek bar in
oh
Victoria.
right, okay.
Yeah,
I
so I
never knew.
used to go to that one too. Or is it the same one? I can't remember, but yeah, he's right.
Mephisto, hello, Mephisto. I have a nasty feeling that we have been sucked into the Orville, and we are all going to fall for the bait and switch. It's as fuck, but not yet. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that it's the 3 year. I think it could be a combination of the 3 year away and um, being owned effectively by Disney.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, people do it. A lot of people. Look, the only brave person in Hollywood that actually turned down millions of dollars is Dave Chappelle. He's the only one I know
Yeah,
in the history of Hollywood that literally turned down millions and millions of dollars to repeat his show on TV. He said, "Screw that." He didn't agree with what they wanted him to do, and he left. And a lot of people had a go at him. His family had a go at him. All his friends had a go at him. Now who's laughing? You see,
Dave
you've got to
Chappelle.
believe. Yeah, exactly. You've got to believe in your commitments. If something is morally wrong, and you just do it for the money, how bad are you as a person? Do you know what I mean? And if
Look at
Seth
what's
is
his
doing that,
face, Kevin Smith.
yeah, well, Kevin's a prime example, yes, isn't
He
he?
killed He-Man twice,
Mm.
and Clerks
Clerks
three.
three,
Is it out
yeah.
yet?
No, but you can see the reason why he did it because he wanted the money to make Clerks free, and let's face it, nobody was giving him any money for his projects, and I like Kevin Smith as a director, but because of what he's done, I'm not going to go and see Clerks free. So for two reasons.
I
One
don't
is
think
that,
nobody is.
well, for two reasons. One is that what he did to He-Man, even though I'm not a huge fan of He-Man, it's
Killed
just the
him twice.
principle of it. And the second thing is that the second Clerks was such a long time ago. I don't think anyone's interested in it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely not interested in knowing what the characters are doing now. I don't care. So I think he should have basically, if that was the route he was going, he should basically make something new rather than make Clerks 3. But then I'm not him, so whatever.
Matt, forget Smith. I'm not watching that shit.
I did like the first one. Oh, hello, Swap
Flippers.
Shop.
Hello, fellas.
How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Just a bit of a mess at home, but I've cleaned it up now.
We'll just talk about Kevin Smith, one of your favourites.
He used to be, yeah.
I think it's the same with everyone, really.
Yeah, is Swappers, is Clerks out yet, or is he doing the promotion for it? I don't know.
I think we're just seeing trailers for it at the moment. I don't know when it's actually released.
Nobody's interested in it at all, are they?
I don't know. I've not that I've seen. I don't.
Yeah, I read tweets somewhere that reap what you sow and all that.
The thing is, though, with Kevin Smith, him doing that to He-Man that's not the first thing he did. The first thing he did was say how great Superman versus Batman was, and it was obvious that he was courting DC because he wanted to work for DC, and he got what he wanted. He ended up directing a few episodes of Supergirl, so that's how he got under the skin of DC. And so once he got under the skin of DC, he realized he had to comply to what they were peddling, especially in the CW world. You know what they were peddling, and it weren't drugs. And that's how he got started. And then obviously they offered him more money to take the helm of He-Man, and he lied that he was a fan of He-Man when he knew nothing about He-Man. So he was doing it to get money, which I don't know if I'm just putting my Columbo hat on here, Although Columbo doesn't wear a hat, he wears
Dirty Mac.
Dirty Mac.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Lovely Cherie says September 13th.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll make sure I'm out of the country when
Which
it gets
is
released here.
which is the date of Space 1999 as well, isn't it? It's September 13th.
Oh yes. Mm. Yeah.
So I take it nobody's going to be watching it.
No, I'm not.
Not that I've
Well,
never. I don't think I've watched any of them anyway. So
There was only
I've
one
watched
other
the
person I
first.
used to know, a mate of mine years back, who I don't speak to anymore because he turned into an idiot. He used to really be into Kevin Smith stuff, like full on, loved Kevin Smith. He's the only other person I've really ever known that liked him. So, and I don't speak to him anymore, so I don't even know if he's into it.
Do you know what? Right, I remember going to see what's that movie called? The one where the guy was in love. It was Ben Affleck was in love with a gay girl. I can't remember what it was called. Jason Amy. And I remember the only way to see that film in England was to go to one of those arty cinemas. And we went to this arty cinema and it was packed. It was so packed. And we eventually got 2 seats at the back. And I remember loving that film, thinking it was absolutely hilarious. The characters were really well drawn and stuff like that. So the man has got talent. It's just a shame that he kind of, sucked up really. And kind of made himself.
Shall we leave the last word to Matt? Oh, was it Matt one?
Okay, so
Clerks 3 equals flop.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's making it for a very low budget, so it can't really fail that much. You know what I mean? So, anyway.
Okay, so moving on. Now, is this a flop?
We don't know.
Well, according to it debuted with basically $300 million globally, but it's getting panned, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah, it's not a very good film. That's why it's getting panned.
You've seen this, haven't you? Spoilers, by the way, folks.
My defense, I got dragged to see it. I was out with a young lady, and she smiled nicely and said, "Let's go and see Thor."
Would that be one of your nieces by any chance?
Sorry?
Would that be one of your nieces by any chance?
No. This was kind of a date.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, there's no way you can say no to your nieces. But yeah.
Well, if they wanted to see it, which they don't.
Hot news.
In fact, my nieces are so clued up; they know about woke and crap like that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But this girl said to me, "Let's go and see Thor: God and Blunder," basically, and I was dragged to the cinema. And I sat there and I didn't laugh once. I think one person laughed in the cinema somewhere, but
why did they fall over on the stairs or something?
I don't know. I just thought the film was bad.
Here you go. Franco's given us permission to spoil away. Couldn't care less about this film.
I don't know about it, so you can't spoil it for me.
I will say, Thor. I love Thor.
The first there's a lot of women.
Yeah, the first film, fantastic. I respect Chris Hemsworth and his training regime to get in the shape that he's in. Just Kenneth Branagh directing it, great film.
It was a good film.
It had something kind of an extra level, and I liked it. And Thor for me is great. And second one was then the third one, Ragnarok. As we said, it was okay, but it's titty man, isn't it? He just turns his humor up. He just pushes it a bit too much. And Ragnarok was it was kind of turned up to 11, but it wasn't a good 11, if you know what I mean. I just know this is going to be shite, and I really don't want to go see it.
Well, for me, I said on Facebook, Thor: Love and Thunder, lousy script, tries too hard to be funny at the expense of the drama. Okay. So much so that you end up not caring about the outcome of any situation. And that kind of really sums it up.
Yeah.
Because the humor was all over the place, and any situation where it was serious got eliminated. The seriousness got eliminated through this stupid humor that Titty, whatever his name is, put in it, and I think was serious. And at the ending, Thor gives his power to all these kids, so the kids can fight the monsters. And that doesn't make any sense either, because why didn't he just give his
What?
power to people when they were doing the Infinity War? So it really, it really makes no sense whatsoever, this film.
Yeah, I watched the Gary Nerdrotic review of it, and he just says it's just stupid.
Well, look, normies would go and see this film and they won't detect the woke in it, because there is a lot of woke in there, but this time it's very subtle. And people like Gary and Drinker, they can see more deeply than us. And what's interesting is that if you disagree with what they're saying, all you have to do is look at the film and take what they say and see if what they're saying is right. And 9 times out of 10, you'll come to the conclusion what they're saying is right. There's really no denying it at all, really, that woke does travel in this movie.
Yeah,
he said,
what's her name? Tessa Thompson was in there for no reason at all other than to do. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. There was no, if you took Tessa Thompson out of this movie, it would have made no difference whatsoever. Yeah. But then this is Disney's MO. Every time they have a male superhero, he's always got to have 2 girls by his side, always, for some unknown reason. It's either a bad girl and a good girl, or it's 2 good girls, or, do you know what I mean? It just it's a bit silly. As I said, they did that in Hawkeye, they did that in the last Doctor Strange movie. It was just really stupid. The film is stupid. It really is. I don't know what to say.
Or is it Matt one? It sucks because the Gore the God Butcher comics are really good. I know it's Christian,
but they don't
Bale.
care about the comics. They don't care about the original story.
It's almost like the baddie you've been waiting for. And Josh Brolin as Thanos was good.
Until Disney took over. And then he became some stupid
pussy
idiot. Yeah, he just... The writing is abysmal in this film. It really is, right? It takes a serious subject and makes a huge joke out of it. Jane Foster, she's suffering from cancer. Okay, and they deal with that like a joke. They actually deal with it. It's like a joke. And if you look at the comics, right, there's pictures that the artist drew Jane Foster, and she's got no hair on her head. She's completely bald because of the radiation and stuff like that. In this film, there's no way you can guess this woman is suffering from cancer at all. No way. Because even when she's not Thor, she still looks okay. She's still got a full head of hair. So it really... Anyway, I'll stop there. It's just rubbish.
CGI arms.
Well, I mean, that didn't really bother me at all. I really, really, really like what's her name?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
It's great.
Sorry.
Yeah, she's great.
I love Natalie Portman. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's a great actress. And I think I would watch a film with her in any day. But unfortunately, she's wasted in this film. And again, here's an actress that's actually playing into this nonsense that's the cancer that's invading our movies. You see some interviews.
Yeah. She is, yes.
Interviews with her, and I saw one interview with this gay guy was interviewing her, and she was playing up to that, and it's like, well, you don't have to play up to that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, is this the gayest movie you've ever been in? I think I saw that in Gary's thing, and she goes,
"Oh, you watched it then?"
Yeah, she goes, "Yeah, it is," and it's like, well, no, it's not the gayest movie ever made. It's not. Watch It's a Sin. That's gay. Do you know what I mean? So you know what I mean. So it's just, I don't know. I don't care really. It's just it's a shame because this film could have been really good.
As I said, Thor, love it. I don't think I could be bothered to see this one.
Well, as I said, I've seen it for you guys, so don't bother. I'm pretty sure that Lost Chord has got loads of things to say about this movie, more so in depth than what I've said, definitely. So,
I would just say to the chat, anybody in the chat seen this? I know Matt he's seen it. Anybody else? We'll move on, yes. Okay, so Stranger Things finished this week, and literally straight away they were throwing the poster out
number 5
for 5.
2 years' time.
How many years?
Oh yeah,
2024, it says at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, 2024. Well, I can wait. I haven't seen the last 2 yet because I've been so busy, but I will get around to watching it. I still think that this one, the one that I've been watching, was a bit woke, because all the boys are completely useless in it for some reason, or stupid. But that's where everything is going these days.
Dermot McQuaid is in it. Hello, Dermot. I loved Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah, there's some nice moments.
Apparently it was a much improvement on the previous season. So
yeah, it had a lot of nice moments in there.
Yeah, I think I watched the first episode back in day, and I've just never seen it since. I just didn't think it was my thing.
Well, I thought it was great because it's one of the very first shows on TV that actually glorified the 80s, and quite rightly so, because 80s was a wonderful decade. Yeah, wonderful decade. So
yeah, Dermot, 2024, long time to wait.
Well, whatever. There's a lot of other things coming before Stranger Things 5, and Stranger Things 5, the kids will be a lot older, and it'll probably be infested if this woke thing still's going, and it'll probably be infested with loads of women, and the men will be in the background, unless the climate changes.
Swap Shop, you've not seen any of these yet, have you?
Not this season, no. I'm still kind of turned off from the last season, and I just thought, nah, haven't bothered.
Don't blame you.
And after what Ian said about it, I mean, I know Lost Chord said it wasn't woke, but what Ian said, I usually go on what Ian says. He's usually
really
agree with everything.
We all do, yes.
No, I mean Lost Chord. Lost Chord has more. He goes into more detail, and he might say things that I've missed. So you shouldn't really listen to me. I'm just giving you my opinion, the way I see it.
Well,
but, I don't mind if people disagree with me.
You're fine. The wise elder of the channel. We don't say that for
whatever.
Right. Okay. So let's move on. And
where is Lost Chord when you need him?
We are expecting him. He's been training. Can you believe it? Training at like 11:15 in fucking 85-degree heat. Can you believe it?
Well, it's good for him. A lot of people who are kind of overweight or there's something wrong with them. They don't make the effort to exercise, And I always take my hat off to people that actually make the effort to change. If that's things that they don't like. So, good on him. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but he looks beautiful, doesn't he?
We don't know what he looks like. I don't know what he looks like.
He looks like that.
No, he doesn't. That's a girl.
Those girlish, good, boyish looks.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't look like that.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah, so I have no idea what he looks like. It doesn't really matter what he looks like. He's a good chap. So there you go.
I'm very disappointed because I've updated the graphics. Can you see that, Swappers?
The what? The updated graphics?
The Dark Sith.
Oh, well done. I didn't see that bit. Yeah, well done.
Okay, so not much news. Well, there was, but a lot of it's just the same old Twitter shite. So, yeah, so we're having some, for the first time in a few weeks, we are having some Musk news. And it's pretty, well, depending on whose side of the fence she's standing on, it's not good for Twitter because he's terminated the deal. Is that it? He says no.
Because they're not, I don't really know the ins and outs, but what I understand is because they're not giving him the information that he's requested. Is that true?
Yeah, it's to do with the bot accounts and just basically bot accounts.
Well, basically, they're trying to disguise because they know that they're in the wrong, so they're not giving them the full information, and so therefore he's going, well, you've breached. You've breached the this is as far as I understand, you've breached the agreement. Therefore, the whole thing has been terminated. But a lot of people don't know that Twitter they've always been in trouble. It's not making.
It's super overvalued. I saw the Daily Wire. Well, Daily Wire article. So
that's where I saw it as well.
The Ben Shapiro thing.
Yeah. So Ben was saying that it's been overpriced, but also the fact that I also found out that Facebook is still the biggest platform in the world.
Still
apparently,
the daddy. Yes,
it's still the daddy. And a lot of people think it's Twitter, but it's not. It's not Twitter at all. And next after Twitter, I think it's Instagram,
owned by Facebook.
Yeah. So there you go. So I mean, a lot of rubbish comes out of Twitter. A lot of people who really hate life and hate women and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff comes out of Twitter.
Yeah, I think that's where I met Matt, wasn't it, Matt?
I think it might have been actually. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, so there you go. So Twitter is not a very nice place to be. In fact, if you're on Twitter, all you should do is advertise your wares, and that's it. Yeah. And never get into arguments or call people this and that and the other, and just stay out of it. Just advertise your wares.
Yeah, Twitter are not happy, and they're threatening to sue him for, I think, was it $1 billion as compensation?
Well, good luck with that. I mean, the guy's got more money than anyone in the entire world. I mean, first of all, he's well capable of bribing people because of the amount of money he's got. Second of all, he's probably got the best lawyers you can ever get because he can afford it. Third of all, he's probably going to win if they're going if Twitter's going to try and sue him. Elon's probably going to win because you know what it's like when you're at that level. You pay enough people, you're going to win.
Yeah. I think that the in a nutshell, this bloke has come in and said, "Look, I will give you X amount of $1 billion for your company," and they've kind of thought, play Stonewall for a few weeks, and then go, "Yeah, go on then," realizing that their company is. He's buying the company probably twice the value of what it's really worth.
But that's the thing, and I think
and they're just rubbing the fucking hands. Yeah.
Well, Ben was saying that that's one of the reasons why he's backing off, because they're asking for more money than it's worth. Yeah. So, and Elon knows that, so he's like, this is. According to Ben, it might be a tactic for them to bring down the price of how much
4D chess.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows really what's going on? Maybe what Ben is reporting is true. Who knows? But you can never trust anything you hear these days, unless it falls on your lap.
Mephisto, this is directed at me. Twitter has been society's Pandora's box. Elon just exposed it for what it was. And what's the only thing left in Pandora's box?
Don't know.
Lord Cord.
Hey, long time no see, young man.
Late. How are you all?
Long time.
I am melting, massively melting, but I'm good. How is everyone
here? Now, yeah.
Well, we're all melting now that you're here with that sexy voice.
I think he's crushing on you, Lord. So let's step back.
We all are.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It does. Lord, we'll just talk about just got Musk news. Any thoughts on Musk saying to Twitter?
Oh yeah. I mean, because this is one of the great things about your stream having ongoing coverage of this basically for the last however long it's been, because we've basically covered this step by step. It was Elon Musk wants to buy Twitter. Twitter says no. And then Twitter now says yes, and Elon Musk says no. The whole thing, I think, is still about the bots, isn't it? And the whether or not Twitter's user base is as large as Twitter says that it is. And and it now goes to the courts in, I think, Delaware to decide, which means I think that Twitter will be forced to produce evidence one way or the other to back up their claim. And
it's a good move, isn't it?
It could be, yeah. I mean, the worst thing that can happen for Elon Musk is that he has to pay $1 billion to get out of the deal. And that's all. I think that's all it would amount to.
I said $1 billion, yeah.
And he will still have done massive damage to Twitter's stock price, and he's forced it to essentially be more transparent. Apparently, there are still sort of backroom conversations going on in Twitter, basically saying, look, even if he doesn't take this over, maybe we should start to address the concerns of some people who aren't rabidly left-wing. So, one way or the other, even if he's being massively dishonest and never meant to buy it, he's forced some kind of change.
That's good.
It is massively overvalued, though, isn't it?
Well, he deliberately did that, ostensibly to force this deal through very quickly. And it is now obviously pulling out. But I think we were discussing how many weeks ago it was, because that was when he was first starting to prevaricate on it. And when you have enough as much money as Elon Musk has, and when the worst that you can come out of this with is £1 billion hit as opposed to a 40-odd billion pound takeover, what has he got to lose? That's pocket change for Elon Musk.
Exactly.
Well, I wished I had his pocket change. Would you like to see the new and improved graphics, Lord?
You have new and improved graphics? You had graphics to begin with? Oh, hello. I like it. That's Dark Sith Lord George. That's good. Still got the trap photo, but that's all good. I'll take that.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
I think there's still a long way to go on this Twitter deal. So
we'll see.
Amber Heard, she's not having much luck, is she?
Well, I mean, she deserves what's coming to her, right?
Yeah, her
she went out of her way
company,
to lie.
Yes, has refused to cover some of the $8 million damages. So I think she's in trouble.
I think with someone like her, I think she deliberately went out of her way to destroy a man, and destroy his reputation.
Yeah,
because she felt that she was scorned by him, whatever the reason. And she deserves what's coming to her. I think that's a horrendous thing to do to someone, to destroy someone's life. It really is. And I know Johnny Depp is not, he's not
perfect, is he?
Yeah, he's not perfect, but at least he sat there and he told what he thinks was the truth. She sat there and lied all the way through the court hearing, as far as I understand it, because I never watched any of it. I watched bits. And she deserves what's happening, right? As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like that. I caught on to the trial relatively late on, but I did watch the last few days of it, and it was just such obvious stuff. Like, there was a really great tactic by Johnny Depp's legal team to point out in the closing argument that her own talent coaches and agents say, she has a real problem because she cannot act crying. So always look whether there are tears, and it immediately, everyone, the jury's mind, anyone watching, just everything she said from that point onward, whenever she was putting the emotion on, you just looked, you thought, no, she really is putting this on. This is just all an act, and not even a very good one.
Yeah. Andy Mouse, he's no angel. She's a.
Did you see that thing on the news when one of the commentators called one of the MPs a CUNT?
Yes.
Did you see it? Anyone? It was hilarious.
Jeremy Hunt, wasn't it?
That's it.
That
yeah,
was the one. I did see that. That was fun.
And I was laughing my head off.
Victoria Dabshire called him a cunt.
Yeah, I was laughing my head off. And the thing is, that was, as far as I can tell, it was a genuine mistake, wasn't it, by her?
Yes.
She, obviously, because it must have been joking around the cooler or something about that, and it just slipped in there.
Yeah, must have been. Yeah, it's obviously swimming around in her head still, and obviously just popped out right there and then. It was great.
Swappers, you got a comment you want highlighting? Which do you want me to do it for you?
I don't know. Where are they?
You can't hide. You are a moderator, but you can't do the moderating of chat things on the stream on here. I have to.
You can't pop them up. Oh, okay, that's all right. No. I was just trying to see if it was possible or not. That's all.
I could obviously at one point log you in, so you can't.
What was the comment about?
I was just one of MC's comments.
Oh right.
Well, this one.
You did it for me. There you go. That's right.
This one.
Hello.
There's not enough emojis on the screen. That's what I'm getting at.
What about bacon? I haven't seen him in ages.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
Over baconated himself, maybe.
Yeah.
He's probably put some eggs with it. I don't know.
We'll leave the final word to Matt. She shat in his bed.
Mm.
I'd divorce her on the spot if she did that.
It's a new sort of modern extension to the old adage about not airing your dirty linen in public. And you especially don't do that if you shat on the linen first. That's just not a good idea.
It's unbelievable.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Anything like that I've ever heard before was back in the 90s when NME did an interview with Shirley Manson, who sang with there it is, who sang with Garbage. I think she still does actually, and she said once she was pissed off with either a boyfriend or a guy she slept with, and in the morning she shat on his cornflakes and left it on the table for him before leaving.
Oh, jeez.
But the thing is, though, think about it, right? To shit in someone's cornflakes, you have to first pull down your pants, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that you've got a bowl of cornflakes. Put it on some kind of counter so that you can stoop.
Yeah.
and then do it. And then clean yourself up and leave.
And you've got to be ready to go in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you've got to get the aim right, and you've got to hope the consistency is right. Otherwise, it'll just go everywhere.
It's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Must be worth it.
That's crazy.
Sinister genius that goes into it.
That's channel highlights, by the way. Okay, let's move on. Captain America 4 is happening. It's been written by the head writer of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh no!
It's not Captain America though, is it? That's the thing.
No.
And
You've got to do better. Yeah, that one.
I think it's directed by I can't read it because I've not got my glasses on. A Nigerian,
Julius Ona.
Of course
Yeah.
it is. Of course it is. Just like we couldn't have a white director for Black Panther.
Senator. You've got to do better.
Absolute crap, wasn't it? And that girl that did so much bad stuff in it was still hailed as someone that was okay. At the end, it's like, this is just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And he looks stupid in that costume. He really does. Oh well.
Which is a shame because Anthony Mackie is a great actor.
He's a good actor and he's funny in real life as well. I've seen interviews with him.
He was great in the films.
I love the way he takes the piss out of Tom Holland in interviews. He's very funny. He's a very funny man. It's a shame that he's been pulled through the ring on this crap, definitely. But it's the way it goes, I guess. If you want to stick with Disney Marvel.
Lots of Twitter stuff this week going on about this is the real Captain America. You know, Steve Rogers and people have been getting very the knickers in a twist over it.
But he's not the real Captain America. The Captain America is Captain America, and he just happens to be white. He was created by a white dude, and he's white. Basically, this is the offshoot of Captain America. He's not Captain America. He's basically the Falcon as Captain America. So I don't see what the problem is here. It's just like saying that a trans man is a woman. And that's not true either. So. There you go.
Does he need to? Surely, because what you could do, he was a good enough character as the Falcon, and he's been given Cap's shield. Cap gave him the shield as his legacy. You don't have to then assume the name of the person. Sure, like really to honor the person, what you can do is you can retain your existing character, and you're carrying this shield as a mark of honor to the man who left it to you, without saying, "I am a Skywalker" about it.
Yeah, but you know why? You know why they're doing it though.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why they're doing it. Sorry, Matt?
It's about white erasure.
That's exactly what it's about, and that's
not the band either.
Yeah, and that's I can't say the word. isn't it? So it is, isn't it? And it's weird how people can't see this because it's so obvious. It's right in your face.
I mean, I for one, I'm really looking forward to Michael Fassbender taking over as Black Panther, and maybe I don't know, Michael Sheen could be Blade, and then we can say, well, obviously this is just an across the board where everyone's doing it. That's all there is to it. But the fact that it is all going in one direction, you can't really read it in any other way, which is really annoying because again, you want to like these characters. In this case, you do like the character already, and you don't need to drag that into this political thing, which just ensures that you're dividing your audience. When you could have made a perfectly good Falcon film, you could have made a perfectly good Black Panther film without recasting either of these people. But
MC Erasure were white and very gay. Yeah, but they were good though, talented.
They were talented. Also the fact that look, this is just all a waste of time. It really is. Look, as I said, right, the only person in Hollywood that walked away from a truckload of money was Dave Chappelle, right? And these actors are living in fear. That's the reason why they're doing this stuff. They're living in fear, and that's what's sad about this whole situation.
I was going to say I look forward to the day when Tom Cruise stars as Malcolm X.
That'll be interesting. But as I'm saying, Tom Cruise, even though he's a bit crazy in real life, but he's a brilliant filmmaker. I think Tom Cruise is he's got it right. He's making films for the audience.
Yeah,
we'll take it after that.
Okay, so more Marvel Disney stuff. She-Hulk is around the corner.
We can stay around the corner.
Yeah, apparently the actress, what's her name? Tatiana. I can't read it.
Tatiana something. Yeah.
I'm blind.
She's Maslany, I think it is.
She's been inspired by a transgender musician.
No, she hasn't. She's just saying that. I know this actress. I've known her. Well, not know her personally, but I've known her and I've read interviews about her ever since she was in that show. My brain's gone on shutdown. That show where she plays multiple characters. That's where she was famous for. She's a brilliant actress, absolutely brilliant. And I followed her for a very long time and see how whether her career was gonna take off. Oh God, what was that show called?
Matt I always coming through for us. Orphan Black.
Orphan Black. When I was in Canada, I lived in Canada for a bit. That was the show that I kept watching because I found it fascinating, and she was brilliant. She played 6 characters, and each character was completely different. She's amazing. She's an amazing actress, and I think she won an Emmy for that show. And to put her in this and just to make her do this, it's just a waste of her talent. But again, these actors are living in fear. They're scared of saying things that don't suit, the current climate. And she's no exception. Money makes people do silly things or say silly things.
There was someone was sharing a clip of Natalie Portman from back in the press tour for Attack of the Clones, so back in 2002, where she says in this interview, she says something about why she couldn't do an action sequence that somebody else could. She said, well, because obviously I think it's obvious women are very different from men. And I said, ooh. Well, 2002 Natalie Portman is based, but also disagrees with 2022 Natalie Portman. A lot can change in 20 years, apparently. But that's what she used to believe. So either she's gone to re-education camp in the intervening period, or, as you say, she is just saying the kind of thing that she thinks she needs to say in order to get favourable coverage.
But I referred to Gina Carano when Gina Carano's being interviewed, and she said that once she was at a party, and it was on the beach in Malibu, and she was there and everybody was talking, and one actress, she said it was very famous, just came up to her and said, my heart is with you, you're so courageous to do what you did, and she was whispering to her just in case anybody heard her. And so if that is true, that is the climate in LA when it comes to actors. They're scared to actually stand up to this kind of cancer that's spreading through our entertainment. And there's the prospect of money as well, because they have so much money. They can give this girl, Tatiana, a crap load of money. and she's going to comply. So, that's the situation, I believe.
That's
I might be wrong.
That's a CGI Tatiana on that picture. You know that, don't
Yeah,
you?
it is. But it's
amazing,
still her,
isn't
though.
it? Yeah.
She's a lot shorter than that.
Yeah,
She's very short, in
a two or
fact.
something, isn't she?
Yeah, she's very small. Brilliant. As I said, right, she's a brilliant actress. I would cast her in anything that I'm doing because she's so good and it's unbelievable. It's a shame that she's not been recognized for her extreme talent. It really is.
I think she's a shoe-in for Mrs. Shrek if they ever make that.
But you know what, right? If you
Princess
find
Fiona.
it hard to believe what I'm saying, all you have to do is watch Orphan Black, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This
There you go,
girl's
folks.
amazing.
Mega Geeks homework, Orphan Black.
It is. She's amazing.
But they're
Really is.
cycling through these as well. Because I mean, I'll take your word. I've not seen her in very much, but I'll take your word on her talent. But I mean, I think you've probably already discussed Thor by this point. But the number of actors who are objectively very talented, that they are cycling through and just pawning off to irrelevant roles for single run shows that no one will watch, or characters who will disappear and never be seen from again. Thor. Imagine, and I'm scripting the review for Thor at the moment, and just sort of thinking the number of actors in that film who you would want to, back in phase 1 or phase 2, you think, wouldn't it be great if they got Christian Bale in to make a major character? And instead, and there are other people as well, Australian guy, Zeus, my brain is not working in this. Russell Crowe could play some very, very good. He's an objectively good actor, whatever you think of some of his films and his personal.
You've seen
but they're just
Love and Blunder.
Yeah. But they're just cycling through these people. Oh God.
Honestly, it's the money.
Yeah, it is the money, but the problem is it's a waste as well. It basically precludes them having access to this talent in future, which is just evidence of how short-sighted they are now. They have no idea of where they're going, so they don't have any major characters in mind that they could. Oh God, it's so warm. My head is going. Batman. Christian Bale, that's the one.
Yeah.
Christian Bale is an objectively good actor, and he's the best thing in Love and Thunder in terms of his performance, not necessarily his character. He's putting a lot of time and effort into that role. Give him a major character that will be the center of Phase 4, and people will flock to see that because he puts that much effort into all of his roles. Palm him off, on the other hand, as the latest generic one-stop villain, and what's the point in doing that? Why would you waste him in that way? Why would you waste Matt Damon? Gets a bit part role.
He was in the other one though as well, wasn't he? He was in the other Thor as the same character. So he just brought back the same character.
But again, these are like minor bit part roles for actors who really should be. They're talking about a crisis of identity. You've lost Robert Downey Jr., you've lost Chris Evans, you've lost your major actors and your major characters and people that will reliably bring in the audience. The only few remaining are people like Chris Hemsworth, probably the second best thing in this film just because he's got great comic timing. But the film, on the film itself was just an extraordinary mess.
It was big mess. It's a shame. It really is a shame.
Really
and also, the fact is that they've hired people with no talent whatsoever to write the script. Yeah, actually, it's TT, isn't it, that wrote it?
They basically looked at what he's done. He's a funny man. Some of the jokes in the film are very funny, but when it's one a minute, every minute, you're actually, by the end of the film, well, not even the end, by halfway through the film, I was sort of sat back watching it sort of vaguely dispassionately, even in the major sort of character reveal moments, really serious stuff that you're supposed to think this is really bad for this person, and they turn it into a joke. What are you doing?
They said I took what could be a dramatic scene that could make you care about the character, and I completely annihilate it with stupid jokes.
Yeah.
So the stakes weren't very, very high on anything, in my opinion.
In the chat, I think this is directed at me. Are you just going to put up a constant stream of bad shows? Probably. How about something good?
Okay. I'll give you something good.
I'm not going to count Strange New Worlds as good, as only one moonstruck calf here liked it.
I'll give you something good. Right, so there's a film called The Black Phone, and I recommend it highly. It is well written, it's well directed, well performed, and the characters develop all the way through it, and it's a good horror film.
What's that
and
called again?
It's called The Black Phone.
The
And it's
Black
got
Phone.
what's his name? Hawk. What's that guy's name? There's no
We're
big
good with
stars in
names
it.
today.
I'm not very good with names
Right.
today. What's his name? Hold on, let me find out. It's Stephen.
Says,
No, it's oh, I don't know. What that guy? So annoying. Anyway, it's a good film. I recommend it. If you get a chance to watch it, you should watch it. It's a very well made movie. So there you go.
So the problem is, like, obviously, if you're doing streams like this, and you have to sort of focus on what's on at the moment. It's not
That's on
really
at the moment.
anyone. Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yes, it's on at the moment. Yeah, it's made by, is it Bloomhouse? The horror that they make the horror, and it's out at the moment. I look, the two films I recommend that people should go and see, and I'm telling you should go and see these films that are not infected by the woke crap and all that stuff. Is The Black Phone and Elvis. Elvis was a joy to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to go see that.
I basically thought it was going to be absolute rubbish. I thought the guy looked so gay. I didn't really want to go and see a gay Elvis. But when I saw the film, he was amazing. And the film was really well directed by Baz. It was really well performed, and it looked fantastic, and it was a joy to watch. I recommend that highly. I recommend Black Phone highly. You want to see films that are out now? Go and see those two. And I rest my case. So there you go.
Dermot McQuaid, should I watch The Boys? Yes.
So there's two things I've given you that is good.
Yeah, the boys is good. The Boys is really interesting as to its quality, because I think it's objectively really very well written. It's very entertaining. It's engrossing. I think that there are things that can be said that are negative about it, but it's still one of the better things on TV. I mean, Stranger Things, I still think is one of the better things on TV from a story point of view. That's just finished, obviously, but it's sort of reflective of the modern entertainment landscape we're in. So obviously, we mentioned a couple. You've mentioned a couple, which I'm definitely going to go and find out. But when people come along and say, well, why don't you review anything good? The vast majority of stuff that is going to come across our sort of feed and our attention just isn't very good. It's not our fault that Marvel can't make good films anymore, but it's churning out 5 of them a month. If people want to cover good films, as we found a couple, but if you want the majority of the stream to be about good current content, well, we need good current content to talk about. And
I'd love to stream in August. Come on this and say, She-Hulk was fantastic. The girl in it is amazing, sexy as fuck. The stories are fantastic. It's directed well. There's no woke. It's amazing. I'm watching next week.
Well,
it's not going to happen, though, is it?
No, it's not, and it's as Lord says, it's not our fault that the majority of stuff that's on TV is bad, or in the cinema is just has this infest of nonsense. So.
A couple of the boys in the chat saying we should be checking out Terminal List.
It's okay. I've been watching it. It's a bit hard to follow, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm in two minds with it. I think it's okay, just okay. I wouldn't go out my way to watch the next. Was it? I think it's next episode. I watch it when I can. That's how I feel about it. But
Okay, we'll quickly just mention this. This popped up today. Apparently, visual effects artists are refusing to work with Marvel because it's basically a horrible client. And the article says they've seen colleagues just break down.
But the thing is, though, it's been like that ever since special computer effects have gotten better. It's not only the Marvel films. This happened because I know loads of visual effects people. This has happened before Marvel had gone to Disney, and there are a lot of people that, like, for instance, if you're comping something, you'd be working on something, and then when you finish and you're about to go home, 9 times out of 10 they will say to you, the director wants to change something, you have to deal with this now. And the guy's there till the next morning because there's a deadline. So it is really tough on the visual effects artists. because there are deadlines to meet. And everything that's from the top, that's dealt with the big special effects guys, the things that they can't deal with or the things that have gone wrong, they dump it down to the little guys. So, and they have to deal with it and they have to meet the deadline. That's why sometimes when you see big movies and you see one sequence that's really bad, visual effects wise, it's because they ran out of time.
You obviously watched the Corridor Crew this evening.
No.
Did you see that? Their latest video was basically doing
really?
Yeah.
Okay. But I know
are very bad at changing things.
Yeah, my friend Dan, he's just got a job as supervisor for Disney, and he's the one that tells me horror stories. He worked on a lot of big movies and stuff. He's moved to Canada now. He works in Canada, but when he was in England, he was working for Frame Store, and he was telling me the nightmares of being in his position. So there you go. That's how I know why that works.
Melvin Deeply says we should be watching Love, Death and Robots.
It's good. That's another good thing to watch.
Yeah.
It's really good.
There's also The Outer Range as well.
Yeah, I've been watching that. I only watched the first episode, and it's okay. You know, I'm wondering what's going on. That big hole. You know, I'm wondering. So I'll probably watch the next episode.
Brief news on the Star Wars front with Titty as well, saying he was so impressed with Natalie Portman in Love and Blunder. He said, "Do you want to star in my new Star Wars film, which apparently is shooting next year?"
What's the film about?
Well, we don't know yet because he won't tell anyone. Also, he doesn't know yet. So this is part of a longer interview where he basically said he doesn't know what the story is yet. All he knows is that he wants it to be sensibly enough set away from the main sort of current timeline. He doesn't want it to be another Skywalker focused show. That's fine. But the problem with Taika Waititi is that he does not give a fuck about what he's writing, as we've seen most recently with Thor, Love and Thunder. There's actually a clip. It sort of feeds back into that VFX conversation as well, because there's a clip of him and Tessa Thompson where it's been produced and it's been released professionally. And they sit there for about 5 to 10 minutes, I think it is, just shitting on the VFX and the film he's made, and then picking out random scenes where Tessa Thompson attempts to act and fails. And then she says, "Why did you leave that shot in? Because, you know, you cut the bit where that shot made sense." And he was just laughing and said he didn't care. That's his approach to all of this. And so he says with in this particular story, this is part of the broader interview, he doesn't really know what his Star Wars story is going to be about yet. He explicitly says he doesn't want to be too close to anything current because he doesn't have time or inclination to go back through and actually research anything to do with Star Wars, which is never a good sign. And doesn't remember that Natalie Portman was a pretty major character in 3 of the more recent films. So,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's a shame he doesn't know that. But this just says it all, really. Let's face it. Says it all.
Yeah, it does. He has some his earlier stuff. I mean, I quite liked What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People. That sort of small scale, low budget stuff where he's sort of constrained a bit more by money, but also by the need to keep it a small scale story. The problem is when he's, as we've seen now with, I mean, I think Ragnarok was leading to this, but especially with Love and Thunder, when you give Taika Waititi all the money in the world and no constraints at all, he's just a child. And you don't actually want, maybe before he'd done Ragnarok and you say, Taika Waititi's doing a Star Wars film, I might have thought, that could be interesting. But just having seen Love and Thunder yesterday, Taika Waititi doing Star Wars, if there's one thing that could probably make Star Wars worse at this point, it's Taika Waititi.
Did he do the, stormtroopers on the speeder bikes in Mandalorian? Did he do the sketch with those two?
He might have done. I know he did one.
Didn't he? Yeah.
He did.
Thing is, though,
troopers can't shoot properly.
Yeah.
if you know what, right? If they do a Star Wars film, I think if he's going to do one, I think the main character should be a male. And a white male at that. But that's never going to happen.
No, it'll be Tessa Thompson again.
Again, somehow. Yeah. I actually finally got to see the last Men in Black International, and that was awful. I saw that like a couple of days ago, because I was so
Good for you.
bored. It was so rubbish. It was just ridiculous how bad that was. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so moving on from that, Miles Teller, who starred in Maverick, discussions have been made or are ongoing about Top Gun 3. And
Why?
he says it's all up to Tom. Well, $1.3 billion and
No
counting.
excuse. That's no excuse. There's no excuse to make a film that obviously should stop at where it stopped. Absolutely no excuse. Why don't they just take some of that money and make something new? Why are they gonna make
Sorry,
another?
sorry, I'm not reading my graphics. 1.13 billion.
Doesn't matter.
Worldwide.
It's like the obvious thing. It's like I don't agree with the Rocky with what's his name, the black guy in it. I can't remember his name now. I thought that was just a waste of everyone's time. It's just Rocky again, but with a black guy. That's all it is, and you got Rocky coaching him. You know, and this is probably what this is going to end up with this guy and Tom Cruise being maybe being a guest star in it. You know, giving him some pep talk so he can go and blow up something when he's in his jet. That's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Tom is. I think Tom is such a Mr. Cruise is such a professional. He would just go, look, let's just leave it on a high. The fans The fans wanted it.
The fans don't want this.
They wanted Top Gun 2.
Yeah, but we got Top Gun 2.
Yeah, and that's it. He should just leave it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they should do. It's the same thing with Jaws. They should have just left it at number 1.
They
Jaws.
Really
Lord,
actually
what
rewatched
do you think?
Jaws 4, I think, for the first time in years the other day.
Have you?
My God, that is not a good film.
It's not. It's terrible.
It's so bad. No, I just have a dread that in 20 years' time might be sitting here and Tom Cruise will be making Top Gun 5. He'll be as old as Clint Eastwood, and he won't do any of the flying. He'll just give pep talks, as you say, to the young gun, and it'll still be good. Hopefully that won't happen, because if he says he made this film for the fans, then he should probably know that the fans wouldn't be up for that. But the idea, no, you're right. The idea that it made money, let's do another one. That's given us Marvel Phase 4. That's given us Jurassic World. That's given us all the Star Wars shows on TV. Nothing good comes from that mentality at all.
Yeah.
I just think they were totally they just made a normal film 3 years ago. And with all this stuff that's going on, a normal film has just cleaned up at the box office.
Well, that's the reason why
maybe
people
10
like
years
it so
maybe
much.
10 years ago it might not have made so much money because it had just been the norm. But this is just a pure entertainment film.
Yeah,
like
I
the
don't know.
Gold
I think it would have made
Gold
money
Dust.
because it's very entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that it would have made money.
I think Tom Cruise should just say, enough.
Yeah, just leave it, man.
Just leave it. Okay. This dropped today. Monty Norman, composer of the 007 theme, died. I think it was 93 after a short illness.
Good innings, mate. 93.
Yeah.
That's really good. So, and he created an iconic tune, which John Barry adapted and became the voice of the 007 movies via music. So, you know, but this is the guy that actually created that tune. So he doesn't get enough credit for that, to tell you the truth.
It's not been a good year for Bond, has it?
Oh, don't even talk to me about Bond. Seriously, but James Bond is one of the characters that I grew up with as a kid, and just to see it being wrecked by stupid people. I mean, Barbara Broccoli, she's talking about reinventing it now, and that just sends shivers up my spine. So I don't know what they're going to do to it now, you know. So there you go.
I would like to cover No Time to Die at some point, but I don't want to watch it, so we won't.
Well, I have no intention of watching that film ever again. And in fact, I think I've just blotted it from my mind now. I don't even want to think about that film. I think it was an insult to me as a Bond fan, so they can just
They put them all up on they were all up on Amazon
Yeah,
for
they
a
are.
while, weren't they? And I was flicking through them because I saw when it came up in the recommended feed, and it's No Time to Die, and I thought, which one's that? And then I remembered, and I immediately moved on.
Yeah, that's a terrible film. No Time to Die.
Have you
Absolutely
seen
awful.
it, Lord?
Yeah. I saw it cinema when it first week, I think it was. And I don't have the same sort of long-standing. I've always enjoyed Bond films, and I've never sort of been a big Bond fan. But even watching that as a not especially close fan of Bond, you could still see how it mattered to other people who were big Bond fans, and that's where I tend to take a lot of my sort of guide from. If non-fans say, "Oh, that was good," well, non-fans are normies, and normies will like anything. If people who know the franchise say this is wrong, and if you care enough about it, you go and research it, and invariably they turn out to be right about it. So I didn't like it as a film on its own right, even not ignoring the fact that it's James Bond, ignoring the fact that they just killed off this iconic character for the first time. It just wasn't a good film on its own terms. But when you also add in the cultural impact of killing this iconic character off, just needless cultural vandalism. There's so much of modern entertainment is just vandalism.
But there is footage on YouTube of the alternative ending. I don't know if you've seen it, where he swims up after everything falls down. James Bond comes out of the water.
Oh,
yes,
really?
it's genuine. Yeah, it's genuine. And he swims up and he swims off. So he survived the explosion.
Ugh.
So it's on YouTube somewhere.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, and they didn't use that. They obviously just wanted to kill him off.
As we said at the time,
Mm.
short cutscene at the end, 10 seconds after all the credits are finished, with his hand moving. That's all it needed.
I don't like Daniel Craig. See, the only Daniel Craig film I liked was Casino Royale.
Yeah.
And maybe at a push, and I know a lot of people hate this, Spectre. I like Spectre because it had a lot of action in it.
I like Spectre.
But the whole point of James Bond, okay. So let's look at James Bond in a certain light, right? Broccoli knew James Bond wasn't the novels. It was never going to be the novels. So basically, he created something for the audience. He'd literally go to a location, that location's really good. Let's just put that in the story. That's how James Bond films were made, right? And yes, that could be argued that the scripts weren't too good, and they weren't too good, but Broccoli always had it in his mind that he was making James Bond film for the audience. And somehow that got tainted when Barbara Broccoli took over. Basically, she agreed with him up to Pierce Brosnan. And then when Daniel Craig came along, because she fancied him, and he had a huge influence on what was going to go on because he wanted it to be serious, everything changed. And when everything changed, that's when it died, in my opinion. So
I just never saw him as Bond. I mean, Bond is suave, he's dashing, he's strong, he can be violent, but he's ultimately an incredibly slick and sleek kind of person. And Daniel Craig has the physicality, but that's it. He's just this hulking thing. No real charisma. Not particularly good as an actor, certainly not in those films. Loses all of Bond's, the integral things that make up James Bond's character. Decides that he's above womanizing, so he can't do any of that. If you don't like that kind of thing about a character, then don't play that character. Turn down the role. Go somewhere else. I mean, you can play around with that. Like Timothy Dalton was not a big fan of some of the womanizing aspects. He wanted to play it down, I think. But he still allowed for that basic, essential Bondness to come through. He just wanted it expressed in a slightly different, more classy way. But when Daniel Craig comes along and says, well, I want to play James Bond, but I don't actually want to play James Bond. I want to play this character who I'm going to call James Bond. Just don't do it. Turn the role down. Give it to anyone. Give it to Henry Cavill, for God's sake. And I still think he would have made a better Bond and still would
probably
make a better
will.
Bond.
Yeah, he probably will. I said the thing about James Bond films is it's for the audience. It always has been. I mean, when we did the review on Spy Love Me, you can see how much passion that I have for that film, because as a kid, it actually made you laugh. It made you at the edge of your seat. Sometimes it made you want to be James Bond. As I said, Broccoli realized that it wasn't a novel. And to go back and say we should make it close to the novel, that's not a James Bond film. That's the novel. You know, and that's the mistake they made. And to take away the gadgets from James Bond as well, which is the essential part of a James Bond movie,
Yeah.
Indeed.
it's just ludicrous. Absolutely
That was,
ludicrous.
I think that was the thing that really struck me when, I think from Casino Royale on, well, basically from all of Craig's earlier films, that was the thing that really struck me almost more than, apart from him not being Bond, that was the thing that really stood out. It wasn't until, was it Skyfall that you finally get an Aston Martin
Yeah.
with some guns in the headlights? Before
Yes.
then, there's nothing.
Yeah.
This is another iconic Bond trademark that you've just voluntarily ditched to turn it into Jason Bourne light.
You know, so they say that the having gadgets makes it corny, but yeah, I understand that, because when in Moonraker, when he had to go to that jungle, how did he know he was going to get attacked by all those boats? But yes, you know what I mean. So in other words, right, you take that problem and you fix it. So you have reasons why he has the gadgets, just in case, blah, you know. So you fix it, but don't take away what's essentially James Bond, which is the gadgets and the fun and traveling to different countries and having him a complex character and having him a womanizer, because that is what James Bond is. You take away those facets, you might as well just call it Bourne.
Yeah,
you know,
I
and
think
that's
the
that.
fun bit is a really important one as well, because the one word that just does not spring to mind when you consider any of the Craig films is fun.
Yeah.
None of them were fun. They were all very serious. They were all aware of how serious they were. But you know, old Bond, it is supposed to be a little bit silly. It is supposed to be a little bit corny. You can do serious within that framework. It's not one or the other. But the Craig films was just they were dour and serious, overly serious. A slog to get through. There was no light relief in any of them until, I mean, there were a couple of light relief moments in No Time to Die, I think, one or two, but only one or two. But otherwise, no, just as you say, it was a Bourne film, but with Bond's title.
MC and Anna de What's Her Face. Yeah, fucking
She
amazing.
was lovely.
Best part of that film.
It was the best part of that film. She was fantastic in that sequence. She really was. And as I said, if you compare, look at say Tomorrow Never Dies, the car chase in Tomorrow Never Dies, that was so much fun, compared to the car chase, say, in Spectre, or the car chase in any other Craig film. It was all taken too seriously. But anyway, whatever.
Rest in peace, James Bond.
Oh, he's such a good actor, James Bond.
So finally, the main death this week, the mighty James Caan died.
Yeah.
Godfather, Rollerball.
Rollerball.
Alien Nation?
Yes, Alien Nation. He's also in
Misery.
An Elf, who's an elf.
Yeah,
Misery. Yep, Misery is a good movie. He is one of those actors you don't mess with. In real life, he's quite tough as well, isn't he? So yeah, he was such a good actor and a natural actor at that, wasn't he? It's a shame that he's gone. You know.
Swappers, you a fan of James Caan?
Everything I saw him in, he was always amazing. He really was. He wasn't one of those actors that was in many movies that I saw growing up as a kid, but when I did see him, probably one of the last films I saw him in was obviously I saw The Godfather, like when I was really young, so that wasn't one of the last ones, but that was the last film I saw him in most recently when we did a review of it. But I think back then it was that TV movie Alien Nation I saw him in. I thought, what's he doing in this? And
it's not a TV movie. It was a feature film.
Was it? I thought it was just made for TV.
No, they made it into a TV series without James Caan.
He was in the film.
He was in the movie version.
I didn't know that was released in cinemas. Oh, okay. I saw him in that, and never really saw him in many other things after that, really. I think a huge part of his career was before that happened, when he was a lot younger. But he never stopped being a great actor, and it's really sad to hear about this.
It is.
MC. Misery. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Misery, of course. How could I forget that? Yeah.
Franco says, was he in Mickey Blue Eyes?
He was. He that's another one of his great movies. Also, he was in a movie with
Eldorado as well.
Who was that? Yeah, God, he was in Rollerball. I loved Rollerball.
That was good. Yeah.
It was very very up its own arse, Rollerball, wasn't it? Let's face it. It really was. But the actual the actual matches themselves was fantastic. Moon Pie, poor guy. I don't know if you remember the film Rollerball. It's a
I
pretty good
remember it.
film. And there was
Yeah.
another film that he was famous for before he starred in all
1975.
those ones. What was that one? He was in a buddy cop film, wasn't he? It was a long time ago. I can't remember what it was
Oh.
called. Oh God, what is it called? I can't remember. But I think he got famous because of that film. Gosh, Alan Arkin was in it. Him and Alan Arkin, they played
Wow.
cops. Gosh, what is it called? I'll have to try and Google it. Maybe somebody in the chat
Oh,
could.
this is it. Freebie and the Bean.
That's it. Freebie and the Bean.
Well
He
done,
was
Melvin.
famous for that. That film is absolutely hilarious. Have you ever seen it? It's a 70s
haven't,
movie.
no.
It's a 70s movie. It's really good. It's about they're both cops and they basically don't respect the law at all.
It's
So
after The
it's very
Godfather.
funny. Oh yeah, it's a very funny movie. Very, very funny movie.
He was in Slapshot as well, wasn't he? That was a great film.
Slapshot? No, it was Paul Newman.
Was it Paul Newman? Oh,
Yeah,
God, you're
Paul
right.
Newman.
Yeah.
That was kind of roughly based on Rollerball, wasn't it?
They were very similar. Yeah, when you said
Yeah.
Rollerball, it reminded me of that. Yeah, straight away.
Slapshot, yeah. I like Slapshot.
With the
He was in
twins.
Dogville. That was rubbish.
Yeah,
Absolute nonsense. He was in El Dorado? No,
yeah,
whatever it was.
El Dorado, yeah.
Yeah, with
Melvin's El Dorado.
with the great John Wayne, right? John Wayne?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in that as well. I remember that film. He
Way
played
of
the
the
young.
Gun?
He played. The Year of the Gun. Was he in that?
Way of the Gun, Melvin says.
The Way of the Gun. Oh, I don't remember him being in that, but I'll take your word for it.
So great actor. Some great films.
Yeah, he's a wonderful actor.
How old
As
is
I
he?
said, he was
82 or 92. I can't quite make that out.
he was a tough person though in real life. He didn't take shit on the set. There's a lot of stories about him not putting up with nonsense, especially when he was on the Elf set. He gave everybody a hard time apparently.
That's the Christmas movie, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
Rennie keeps saying, do Elf, do Elf.
Yeah. Apparently, he gave everybody a hard time
Really?
on that set. Yeah, apparently. So there you go. Yeah, Freebie and the Bean's quite funny. In a 70s sort of way. If you ever get a chance to watch that film, that's a very old film. But he was good in that.
And that's it. Free eye test at the end. I think we made it, considering it's like 77 degrees in my room. I am melting. So I will thank everybody. I will thank the chats. Cheers, guys. Always great to see you bringing your A game, as you always do, especially with the heat in Blighty at the moment. So cheers, guys. Thank you very much. I'll thank the guests from the bottom. Swappers, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite. Good chatting to you guys. Thanks to the chat as well.
Mega Geek, Ian, cheers, pal.
No worries.
And the Lord, thank you, my friend.
Thank you as ever. I'll try and be on time next time.
Thank you. You just knock yourself out in 80-degree heat, exercising. Someone's going to do it.
Least fun training session ever.
I think that is it. We've got a few films backed up that we need to review. So we may squeeze in a film review before Saturday. I don't know. I always say that I don't know, but we will do our utmost to come back Saturday evening and get the film reviews going again. So I think that's it. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the weather. Stay hydrated. Speak soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.